Hey guys, how's the cherry blossom? Some of you guys might have seen, we showed that to you a month or two ago. That's a autumn flowering cherry blossom. And usually around November, December, we'll get a few flowers from it, but it's not a very old tree, so it doesn't flower terribly much, but that's probably the most flowers we've ever had on it. And it's been already going for a couple of months, and it's still got new shoots coming out, new flowers coming out. So that's the best we've ever had from it. Possibly because it sort of started to get really cold, and then it sort of warmed up a bit, and then it's got cold again, and whatever it is. These things are very sensitive to weather, and it's happy as at the moment, isn't it? Absolutely powering. Anyway, this video is not serious. Anybody who's wanting anything inspired or interesting, probably this isn't the video for you. Just something that I've been entertaining myself with. Wherever you guys live, probably where you live, there's probably some different types of people. Those of you who enjoy observing people, as I do, you notice sort of types of people, right? And over the years, there's been various types of Japanese dude that I've sort of become aware of, and that sort of know, oh, there's one of those. And of course, it's just lighthearted. You know, people are people and individual from each other, and even though some might appear to be a type, they're obviously very different from someone else who appears to be the same type, right? Everybody's individual. However, there are these sort of classic types of character that you will see. Those of you who spent time in Japan might recognize some of these. Also, it's just generalizations, bit of lighthearted fun. It's not meant to be disrespectful to anybody, but also to some of these types will actually overlap. So someone may be more than one of these types. They might be two of these types or three of these types, right? Lighthearted entertainment, no disrespect intended. There are a lot of Japanese guys here that I train with in the dojo or related to. I've got in-laws here. I've got all sorts of Japanese dudes that I encounter. Lots of wonderful dudes here. No disrespect intended. I'll start with the most disrespectful one. Kings. The king type of dude. You get these guys here. I sort of touched on it in a video years ago. Because it's sort of a patriarchal society where the guys are considered to be, you know, they end up being the bosses and the leaders, and it's sort of, you know, everything's run by old men, generally, excluding our female Japanese Prime Minister, but the rest, you know, the rest of society here tends to be dominated by dudes. So the result of that is you get these guys that are brought up like little kings, and we know a few. There's some that we deal with, friends, family friends and things that have these little kings, and they're just treated like little kings from when they're born, you know. And we actually, the one that just came to mind now, we've got this one that's sort of distant related to us that comes here sometimes, and they'll pull up in the car, and the mother will be sitting in the back seat, and the king, who's about 8 now, will be sitting in the front passenger seat, right? He likes to ride in the front passenger seat, so mother sits in the back, father drives, and the little king sits in the front seat. And he gets out and sort of strides around just like a little king. And we see guys like that here all the time. And they're treated like that by their families. What do you want to do? Oh, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to do this. And just like little kings. Just like little kings. And then when they grow up, they have the same sort of attitude. And you see them all the time. We'll be sitting in a restaurant and you get a family walk in. And the father will sort of walk in first. We actually showed this on a previous video too, something like this. Father will walk in first, push open the door to the restaurant, walk in, let the door close on his wife, who's usually carrying the kids and, you know, carrying the baby and walking with the kids and carrying whatever stuff. And the father will just sort of push the door open, walk in, let the door close on her, walk in, yes, I want a table for 4, walk over, pick the chair that he wants at the table, sit down, pull out his phone and start playing games or whatever he's doing, and the wife sort of tagging along behind with the kids and whatever else needs to be carried. You know, the king. And those of you who spent time here will recognise the king. We see kings here all the time, and their whole attitude is that everything's about them. They don't consider anybody else. Really common is the king. We know a few kings. We know quite a few kings. Very common. Okay, a bit more light-hearted one next is the chuckles. Chuckles, The chuckles. You get these, usually fathers. I don't know any single guys that do it. It tends to be sort of fathers. There could be single guys that do it too, but you get these guys here, and I've talked about the laughing before. The people here will laugh if they're uncomfortable or different social situations where laughing doesn't seem to be the right reaction, but they'll do it. And these chuckles guys, they'll chuckle at everything. They'll chuckle, and the one that just came to mind now, I remember walking in once and saying to him, "Oh, it's cold, isn't it?" And he was, "Ha, ha, 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 ha," right? And laughing. I mean, we all like hanging out with people that laugh, right? But this isn't a genuine laugh. This is just this sort of a social thing to show that he's light-hearted, or that don't know why they do it. Don't know why they do it, but it's really common with fathers here to do it. Ha, 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 ha. And the kids will be doing, and ha, 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 ha. But it's not real. He's not really laughing. He's just doing this chuckle thing that they do, which seems to be for the benefit of the other people, to show that he's having a good time, or that he's light-hearted, or I don't know why they do it. But it's sort of a bit annoying because it's insincere. Like in Japanese society, there's a lot of insincere things that people do. And for some people, who live here, it can become annoying because it's not sincere, it's not real. And those of us who come from a society where sincerity's valued, it's not valued here. So these sorts of behaviours are just accepted. And and he'll be seen. The chuckles is usually seen by other people as being very. Very nice. Oh, he's very nice. He's a nice man, Ha, 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 ha. And they usually are. But I've also found there's not a lot of substance to them. What I've seen is these chuckles guys, and big generalisations, right? But these chuckles guys, I've seen situations go down here with big dramas with kids and wives and mothers and, other people. And chuckles will sit back and not get involved at all. And I've seen that a few times here. There's a bunch of examples of this have come to mind, where these chuckles guys, they're just ha 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 ha, and that's it. That's all they got going on. They go to work in the morning, they come back at night, ha ha ha, and that's it. So, chuckles, that's them. That's them. Shy boys, shy boys. Oh man, I think I made a whole video about shy boys years ago. But yeah, shy boys. So you get those here too, where you get a family. We'll have family come here with kids, and I'll say to the girls, "Oh, konnichiwa," and the girls will go, "Oh, konnichiwa," and I'll say to the boy, "Konnichiwa," and they go, "Oh," and hide behind their mother's leg. And this could be an 8, 10-year-old boy, and they hide behind their mother, and shy boy, they say, shy boy. So they don't say hello. Shy boy. So the girls, you don't hear shy girl, interestingly. No one says shy girl. But shy boy is a really common thing here. And they'll say it about 10-year-olds, and they'll say it about 30-year-olds. You get 30-year-old guys here who goes, he's very quiet. Oh, yeah, shy boy. Shy boy, they'll say. 30-year-old dude. 40-year-old dude. Shy boy. And they, shy, he's a shy boy. They sort of almost like it. Because shy boys are sort of, inoffensive and shy boys. Never heard anyone say shy girl. It's just not a thing. Shy boy is a thing. Shy boy. Shy boy. Shy boys are really common. Probably you get some chuckles who are also shy boys as well, a bit. Flickers. Did make a video about flickers years ago. Flickers. The fringe is really popular here. The fringe that comes down past the eyebrows is popular here, and almost hiding the eyes, and those guys tend to flick because they're getting that fringe out of their eyes. But what's really weird is that it'll become a habit to a point where even after they get a haircut where their hair's right up here, right, their fringe is up here, they'll still do it. And you'll see guys here doing it. And I'll be driving in the car, I'll stop at traffic lights and be a guy walking across the street. And they'll be doing the flick thing. And even their hair's not in their face or anything. It's just, it becomes a habit. And again, we've got a couple of people that we know in our lives where they'll sit there at the table while you're talking to them, doing the flick thing. And it becomes a habit. Flickers flickers I call them. Really common. And again, young guys and adult men too, sitting there doing the flicker. And yeah, it's a sort of a thing that they do. It's sort of like, I don't know, like a trend almost. A lot of this stuff's like a trend. And you get this with Japanese behaviour is, in a lot of our cultures that we come from, individuality is sort of a thing. You know, people like to be individual, don't like to be the same as everybody else. Whereas here, there's sort of it's like they choose to be in these different categories, right? Probably most Japanese dudes would not be offended to be put into a category because, you know, even the outliers in Japanese society we'll get to shortly, the bozo saku, the bozo saku, even like the radical dudes here behave the same as each other, right? So that I'm radical, I'm different from society, but they'll do that the same as all the other dudes that are doing it, like the motorcycle guys, right? They all dress the same and act the same and talk. So, you know, even in their being radical, they're doing it in a way that's the same as the other people that are being radical, you know? So you get a lot of this. So like a trend. So the flicker thing is like a trend. Fast eaters. These dudes that sit and shovel food, right? Absolutely shovel food. Bum, 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 bum. And I asked my wife about it once. I've got to be really careful about this because Japanese people, rightly so, think making observations about other people is rude, which probably is, right? So I've got to be careful about how I say things to my wife about things like that because she'll think I'm being rude about these other people. But I did mention to her once something about guys eating really quickly, and she said, it seems really Genki, she said. So that their image is that guys that eat really fast, they're full of life, right? They're full of life, they're throwing down their food, they're full of life, full of energy. So, you know, this is typical of Japanese thinking too. They tend to see all these things, they'll find a positive way to look at all these things. You know, I said something to my wife once about how fast the truck drivers drive here once and how dangerous it is because they kill people, you know. And she said, they have tight schedules. It's almost an automatic Japanese reaction to any sort of behaviour of other people is to try to justify it, which, you know, that's fair, isn't it? That's nice. That's nice of them. Fast eaters, disgusting. Boom, 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 boom. And you get these guys like the kings. You get a king that'll do it. They come in with the family and they sit down and the wife has to take care of the kids and get the kids' food and all that. And the king just sits there and looks at his phone and says to the wife what he wants to eat. And then his dinner comes and he throws it down while he's looking at his phone. You know, just throwing it down. Fast eaters. And if you get a slurper at the same time, those of you guys know about the slurping with the noodles thing. You get a fast eater who's also a slurper, and it's a real scene. It's terrible. It's like, oh, dude, really? Can we get a screen put here so I can eat without seeing that? Delicate boys. Wow. Delicate boys abound. Like boy groups, boy bands, and individuals, but just these delicate guys with their just delicate features and makeup, you know, I showed you once before the makeup section in a shopping centre, in a department store that had a section for men's makeup, and these delicate guys with their makeup, and they colour their hair, everything's really neat and perfect and delicate and fabulous, you know, and just soft. And these boys groups that you get, some of you might see, every Christmas they do these things at the convenience store where they have some boy group with their chicken, because, you know, the fried chicken thing for Christmas, Japan, and you get these boy groups, you know, these 5 delicate guys sitting there eating chicken with their arms around each other, enjoying Christmas together, you know, without a girl in sight. And yeah, delicate guys. And then in day-to-day life we come across them as well, super delicate guys, you know, and just super feminine's probably a fair word. It's just super feminine, delicate dudes, you know, and you know, and again, none of these things are criticisms. If I had a choice of sitting next to a big, smelly Australian guy on the train, or sitting next to one of these delicate guys, I'd rather sit next to the delicate guy. They take up much less space and they smell better. So, not a criticism at all. Delicate guys. Those of you who've spent time in Japan would definitely have seen delicate guys. You see them in real life, but they're just a classic in advertising and in television, and you know you see them all the time in posters and advertising, and you know on television, really popular as well. The delicate guys, just because girls will say, you know, you ask girls about, you know, oh, he's lovely, isn't he? Oh yes, he's sweet, he's kind, he's gentle, he's, you know, the Japanese girls think that those delicate guys are really, really sweet, you know, non-threatening and, you know, delicate and sweet and fabulous, and they can share makeup tips with each other. Oh yeah, Japanese alphas. I mentioned before about the bozo saku, the bozo soku is what they really are, is the noisy bike guys. I've just got no time for those guys. We've got a couple of young ones that live nearby, and they'll just go round and round the neighbourhood at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know. And those who aren't familiar with these guys, I've done lots of videos on them if you want to see. Just, you know, usually people who ride motorcycles in other parts of the world, the noise that a motorcycle makes is a sort of a side effect of the wanting to go fast and enjoy the bike, right? Here, the goal is to be noisy. So they'll drive at 10 kilometres an hour and rev the heck out of their bikes and just round and round around the neighbourhood, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's really annoying, and the cops just don't leave them alone. The cops just leave them alone, don't do anything about it, you know, and they just do the same thing all the time. Just makes you, you know, very annoying. But these guys think they're alpha males, and Japanese people think these guys are alpha males. I remember I had a girlfriend once. I was taking videos of some of these dudes doing their thing. That you guys can see that video if you want to, and she was really nervous. She was saying, oh, don't video them. She was scared of them. She was really scared of them. And these guys, I pulled up next to them at a set of lights here once, and I really got no time for these guys at all. They're really annoying. And I looked over at them, and they looked at me, and I just eyeballed them, just stared right in their face, you know, and just looked at him. And he looked away. Here's this, you know, what the Japanese consider to be an alpha male, and he looked away. And I've had that experience here before with these guys that strut around like they're the hard man, you know, they're the alpha man. And when you just look at them, they're not used to it. They're not used to people eyeballing them, and so you just look straight at them, and they just look away, look down, or look away, and pretend you're not there. So alpha males, but you do get them. Yeah, you do get them, and you'll get alpha males who are also kings. You won't get an alpha male that's also a shy boy. But yeah, Japanese alphas, yeah, they're different. They're different from, and usually you'll see the underlying character with them really easily here, you know. Having dealt with rebels motorcycle members in Australia and that sort of thing, the alphas here just, yeah. Anyway, enough said about that. I think you get the idea. Bevans. I don't know if you guys have Bevans. In Australia we have Bevans. When I was 17 years old, I was probably a Bevan, I guess. I had hair down to my shoulders and drove an orange Datsun 180B with mag wheels, and so I guess I was a Bevan when I was a young fella. That's a Bevan, right? So driving around in modified cars and long hair and all that stuff going on. Mullets, I wrote here. Those of you guys know mullets. What do they say? Business in the front and party in the back, you know, short at the front, long at the back. Actually, I think I was long all over those days. That was the 80s. Long hair all over the place. Yeah, they happen here. And then they do things like they what do you call it? When you, bleach your hair. So to go from black hair to a different colour, they have to bleach it first, right? You can't go from black to brown or black to red. You've got to go from black, they bleach it, and then they colour it. And a lot of the Bevans just seem to just bleach it. And we've got a family of Bevans just down the street here. And the kids come past in the morning going to school with our kid. and you know, they come past. And the funny thing is, you get the mum, dad, and the kids will use the same bottle of bleach and the same bottle of colour. So when we go to festivals, you'll get mum, dad, and the kids with their hair all the same colour, and because it stands out here, right? Because the standard colour, the standard issue colour for hair here is black. So when you get a whole family that have this bleached hair, it stands out. Mum, dad, and the kids all the same colour hair. And then what they'll sometimes do is, not just this one family, I'm talking about generally, sometimes then they'll colour it, they'll bleach it first and they colour it brown, but it ends up an unnatural looking red or something like that quite often. But yeah, the mullet haircut and the clothes. I know a guy here that when he sees these guys, I'm not talking about this one family, I'm just talking about Bevans in general. When he sees young Bevans here with the hair dyed, you know, the parents have bleached the kids' hair, and he'll see these 10-year-old kids with the bleached hair and say, there's the next generation of truck drivers. Because usually dad's a truck driver and the kids are truck drivers. And, you know, again, it's not, I'm not meaning to be disrespectful or rude or anything else. It's just observing, right? If I observed 17-year-old me leaning, I've got a photo I should show you. I got a photo of 17-year-old me with the long hair leaning against that orange Datsun 180B. And if I saw that guy sitting outside here right now, I'd be taking a video of it and saying, look at this Bevan, right? So I'm not excluding myself from any of these things, right? But yeah, Bevans, you do see them. And the truck drivers, in fairness to my friend that makes that comment, you know, the truck drivers here, because in the business world, probably like lots of places where you guys live, in the business world, of course, you know, you can't be doing stuff like that. So in the business world here, usually people just have their own natural hair colour, and there's usually rules too in workplaces here about that sort of thing. So they've got the you know, the sensible haircut with their natural hair colour, and you know, that sort of thing. Whereas guys here that work in the construction industry, for example, or you know, truck drivers and that sort of thing, those guys can tend to do what they want. So they'll have the bleached hair and the long hair and the, you know, maybe an earring or something, and maybe a tattoo, not so common, but maybe a tattoo. So yeah, more Bevany, like me and my mates when I was 17. We were Bevans, no doubt about it. Old Yankees. Those of you who haven't seen this before, the Yankee, they call them Yankees. They always strike me as looking like Elvis Presley. They have that, you know, that Elvis Presley, early Elvis, with that was that bouffant they call it? I don't know. That big hairstyle thing that Elvis had in the early days, and they wear like jackets with colourful stuff on them and that sort of thing. So they call them Yankees, but it looks more like Elvis. And it's sort of a little bit. It's not so popular with the young guys. And so these older guys, they tend to, when you see a Yankee now, they tend to be older guys. So you get these old dudes, like, you know, maybe younger than me, but they're old dudes, right? And the Yankee hair, and they'll either ride motorbikes or sort of like modified cars. And if they can get their hands on one, they'd have a big American Impala or something, you know, and they'd be cruising around with the big haircut, big Yankee haircut. Yankees. So yeah, probably not as common as they used to be in the old days, and if you see them now, they're likely to be 40, 50, 60 years old. They're not so common, but you do see them. You do see them with the big Elvis haircut and the cowboy boots or that sort of stuff, you know, driving around in the big American car. So again, guys, this isn't meant to offend anybody. It's just lighthearted stuff. You know, wherever we live, you always see sort of categories of people. Interestingly, I always notice this about the guys here. I don't notice it so much about the ladies. I couldn't do a long, boring video like this about the ladies because it doesn't seem to be so common, the categories, or maybe I just haven't noticed, I don't know, but there are a couple. There's one that comes to mind, is the yummy mummy, right? Yummy mummies are pretty common here. MILFs, isn't that what some people call them? But very attractive young mothers here, and there is a classic type that drives around in the big car. We've shown you those big vans, the big 7 or 8 seater vans, and they'll drive around with a seven-seater, 8-seater van to transport a 20-kilo kid, right? One 20-kilo kid and one 15-kilo kid in this huge van, right? And they'll wear deco nails, they call them, so big fingernails, decorated nails, often either fake eyelashes or heavily done up eyelashes, so their eyelashes are really big, and a little brown cap. And I actually asked a lady about it here once. She wasn't wearing one. I said to her, those little brown caps are popular, what do you think? And she said she reckons the cap thing's sort of a fashion thing. We did a video about that recently. And I said, why the little brown cap? And she said that she thinks that ladies wear the brown cap because it complements their skin colour or something. But it's really common. That is a really common type that I see all the time. These MILFs driving around in their big van with their little kids and the little brown cap. It's really common. It's really, really common. If I went to the supermarket and sat outside the supermarket, we'd get 5 or 6 of those in no time. In no time, they're everywhere. And that big van thing's a real thing now. It's a real trend, and it's like every family has to have one. We don't, and we won't. But yeah, it's a huge trend here. They love the big van, and the MILF with the little brown cap, and the long hair, long flowing hair, and the nails and the little brown cap. Yeah, driving the big van. That's definitely a type here. Really, really common. I could get you a video of 7 or 8 of those in no time outside the local supermarket. There's just one after another. There's another one. There's another one. I guess I'd call them MILFs. But again, just that type. So anyway, this is lighthearted. I hope it was taken lighthearted. There'll be sure to be somebody that gets upset about this. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. They won't be upset about me calling myself a Bevan, of course, or a few of my friends. We all had the Japanese cars with the mag wheels. One guy had a Celica. Awesome. It'd be worth a fortune now. Celica with mag wheels, 5-speed Celica. It was awesome. I had a Datsun 180B. My buddy had a 120Y. 2 buddies had 120Ys. Another guy had a Datsun 1600. We were Bevans. Yep. Anyway, that was silly, wasn't it? So for those 2 people who are still watching this, good on you for sticking at it. More videos coming soon.